Now I'm going to share with you 5 surprising things that you might not expect to find in an Amish home. And not all of these things are found in every Amish home, and I'll explain, but you will find them in some. We think of the Amish as very plain and simple, but the reality in a lot of cases is not exactly that. First thing, $2,000 grandfather clocks. Now, these are beautiful grandfather clocks, and they're quite popular in many Amish homes. The decorations in Amish homes, you're not going to see a lot of paintings and elaborate wall decorations and hangings and things. There's a pretty limited scope of typical common decorations in Amish homes. And for example, calendars with kind of some nature images on them are very, very common. You might have a zip code chart listing all the zip codes in your in your community. So when you're writing letters, you have that handy. A birth chart or birth record, all the members of the family's birth dates are listed. The Amish do often have some nice furniture, and especially since they have a woodworking tradition, I think that influences this. You'll find Amish put some money into clocks. A clock is a practical item that tells you the time. It's also a nice decorative piece in some cases. And you may have musical wall clocks that actually have some mechanical action that chime and do like a little song on the hour. But you've also got these, beautiful grandfather clocks. Some of them are very elegant and really fancy looking even. I'm definitely not knocking the Amish for this. It's nice to have something kind of nice in your home. So this is not a critique or anything like that at all, but just a reality. Pretty common in let's say, the more kind of mainstream to progressive Amish homes. I took a look at the pricing on some of these clocks in a mail order catalog popular with the Amish. And some of them had mahogany overlays, satin brass dials, and even something called triple chime Keininger movement, which I have no idea what that is, but sounds cool. And prices were anywhere from about $1,900 to close to $2,500 for these. You can buy a simple clock on the wall, but it's your home. You want it to look nice. You want to have some nice things in there. For the groups that find this acceptable, it's fairly common. Number 2, phone chargers, cell phone chargers, smartphone chargers in Amish homes. What's this all about? Well, Amish don't have traditionally phones in the homes, though there are some exceptions to that as well. If you have a phone line, it may be out in like a barn or a building outside of the home, or you may have a group of Amish households, 5 or 6, let's say, that share a phone that's like in a little phone shanty. So you'll see, like, if you're driving through Amish communities, one example would be northern Indiana, and you just see these little shanties, all over the place. And that's a shared phone in there. So Amish can use a phone. It's not too convenient to have it right next to the house. So you got to go a little ways to use it. But it's there if you need it. The most conservative Amish don't even have that. But cell phones, smartphones, these are out there in some Amish communities. Youth have them. Also, some adults have them too. And the justification is having something that you can use for your business. Having a cell phone charger, for example, you may have a car directly attached to a car battery. You could have that sort of set up. You may have a phone charger that's hooked up to a diesel generator that's outside that charges up the phone. Many Amish use what's called inverters to convert DC battery power to AC, and you can use that to power some appliances. So the Amish have different ways of generating power. Amish do use batteries. That's common. They may have solar power in some of the more progressive places. If someone in the family has a phone, they're going to need to charge it somehow. Some Amish adults might use this, for example, for a business to be able to reach customers, like for example, an Amish contractor. Number 3, conventional washing machine. Now, most Amish, when they're washing their clothes, they're using an old-style wringer washer. But in some of the more progressive communities, they'll actually permit and use a conventional washing machine, which will be powered in a similar way to how I described they get power for the cell phone in the previous segment. For example, at Lancaster County, in some parts of Lancaster County, this is something you'll find in the more progressive parts. Number 4, battery-powered table lamps. Another one connected to electricity. Now, you're going to have propane and natural gas lighting common in many Amish homes, but sometimes you need something a little more convenient, like, for example, in the bedroom, like if you're reading or you just need to turn something on really quickly. without, lighting up, something that's powered by fossil fuels. Battery-powered table lamps often have these colorful glass shades. They don't give you a ton of light. I've used these before, but they'll light up enough so you can read, you can see your way around the room at night without banging your knee against the bed or stubbing your toe. Just kind of a handy thing that Amish in some places will have. Number 5, fine china. This is one area where I would say Amish kind of permit themselves a little bit of extravagance in a household item. And it also helps that this is, it's a useful item, right? So there is a useful purpose to china, and it also has some decorative value. And you'll see china displayed in Amish homes is fairly common. Some of them may own the china, but they may be more modest about displaying it like in a cabinet. Karen Johnson Weiner, who's a researcher that's written some great books on the Amish, wrote in her book, New York Amish, about one very conservative community in that state. And she said there's often a china closet, but if it has a glass front, it will have a curtain so that no one can see the dishes inside. Again, that's something you'll see fairly common in Amish homes. I've eaten off the fine china. I think when we had some fancy, or not fancy, but special occasion when a lot of people were visiting with some of my Amish friends, and they pulled out the fine china, and that was kind of neat to see. But normally Amish dishes are more humble, simpler. You've got a lot of these plastic Bootenware bowls that are just like a multi-purpose bowl that you use for your main course, and then you throw your dessert in there at the end. But there's also fine china in Amish homes, and that's something that you might not expect to see. So 5 things you might not expect to see in an Amish home. If you like the video, subscribe, give us a like, leave us a comment, and I'll look forward to talking to you next time.